We're on the line with our Indiana County Commissioners today. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Todd.
It's good to have you all with us here today. And that's just because we had a little bit of a difficulty with a Zoom call yesterday. When you're not the one speaking, let's make sure that we're muting our mics because I'm getting some feedback from time to time. So I don't know who's first leading us off today, but you folks have a lot to talk about, I assume. My conversation with Mark Hilliard of the Chamber of Commerce yesterday sort of indicates that. We've got the State of the County address coming up. Where are we starting today?
Well, if our chairman and my colleague doesn't mind, I'll take it just to inform our public about the American Rescue Plan, Todd, just simply because we want to keep our public informed that we still do not have any guidelines of how we can use this money from the Department of Treasury, although we're getting close and there's a lot more coming out about what we can't use it for. And, of course, we can't use it for pension, and we can't use it to pay down debt or tax, issues. So I just think it's important because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, where's that money going to be used? How do we, access kinds of things that are coming down from it? So just ask everybody to be patient, and as soon as we hear anything, we will make sure that we get that information out.
Yeah, well, let me introduce. That was Robin Gorman, of course, County Commissioner, joining us this morning, and Shireen Hess is with us as well, as is, Mike, I forgot
Chairman
your name.
Keith.
I know, Mike, I forgot your name. I apologize. What's your name again? Okay, so Robin, that was one thing that folks have questions about, I'm sure, and there are many, many others with all of the money coming in. As I was talking with Mark Hilliard yesterday, one of the things I'm getting the most questions about is how is the county and how are the other players in this game, how are they responding to the broadband issue?
I think my colleagues are going to take that one.
All right.
Well, actually, Todd, I can speak on that. In matter of fact, yesterday I actually had a county resident come in to actually have some questions about it. But as you know, the county has received, and we applied for, and that was through Director Stauffer of the Planning Commission a year ago, for a $1.5 million grant through the Appalachian the ARC. And actually what we did is we were granted that through Congressman Thompson's announcement a couple of weeks ago, which we were truly appreciative. With that being said, the 1.5 is a match grant, 101, which the county has to come up with 1.5, and that's going to give us a $3 million monies to actually construct new projects this coming year. Now, if you remember last year through the CARES funding, we were actually able to use the CARES funding to do broadband also, which those projects comprised of approximately $2.3 million in construction. So with that being said, put the numbers together, we're going to construct more projects this year, and I do want to say that one good thing is the projects that we speak of are projects that the county, that is through the Director Stauffer and Director Stutzman, along with the commissioners, are putting together throughout the county. So they're already set to go. Not set in stone, because definitely we have to look at the county and see where it's most needed, where we're going to service the most people. But those are basically things that are already put on paper, and we're looking at to see which direction we're going to end up put the money to. Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it, that we certainly, when the pandemic broke out, we were not looking for this sort of a windfall to come out of it, but there is an opportunity here that we really need to take advantage of.
Yes, I agree with you, Todd. This is Shireen. And to follow up on the broadband, it's really key that the former boards of commissioners and partners have been working on this for many years, and so we are ready to go in Indiana County, and that's sort of a hallmark, I think, of what we are able to do is be ready for things. So, and the other thing is with the American Rescue Plan and the talk of the American Jobs Plan, there's also money there being talked about for broadband. So it's important that we work closely with our partners and the internet service providers to make sure that we are maximizing those funds and not using them in one place when we can use them in another. So that all takes there's a lot of logistics related to that. But I think it's important for, as my colleagues say, for folks to stay tuned. There are many moving parts to this, but it is one of the things that we consider to be a priority, and we will keep on it. So residents and businesses and healthcare facilities and schools all should stay tuned and look for good things to be happening in 2021 and beyond.
Yeah, one of the we're such an impatient society these days that sometimes we think, okay, I heard a ka-ching somewhere. That must be money coming in. How come my internet service isn't really great right now? We all have to pull the reins back a little bit at this point. And meanwhile, there are a lot of things to do and a lot of bridges to cross. Which leads me to ask, in general terms, what are you as a Board of Commissioners thinking comes next for you? What are the high priority items you're going to be looking at in the next week or 10 days?
Well, we're already starting with our budget, Todd, right out of the gate. I'll let our chairman speak to that a little bit, but working with our directors, looking over the next year, watching and monitoring the loss of revenue into the first quarter, given that we have a comparison last year with the first 3 months. If you remember, COVID really hadn't come into play yet. It was starting, but we have a good comparison about lost revenues at this point and how to monitor that. We're doing a lot with our directors to talk about different ways of doing business and possible revenue generation in ways we've never looked at before at the county level. So we're excited about that. And then, Todd, I want to make sure that we get a shout-out to a couple of things that are really being brought to awareness this month. So I'd like to give a great big shout-out for Sexual Assault Awareness Month is this month. And so our Alice Paul House that delivers programs and services to our community to help victims and support survivors is just so important. And the other one I would like to give a shout-out to is our National Telecommunications Week was April 11th through the 17th, but I think we should recognize them all year long. And that's our 911 dispatchers, Todd.
Yeah.
They are the first and probably most critical contact that anybody makes in an emergency and in a very panicked and scared way. And these people work 24/7, 365 days a year, literally, and they are just so important to making sure they get the right equipment and right response to whatever they're being called for. So, in the Alice Paul House, too, they work 24/7, 365 days a year. So I really, if you know someone, whether it's a worker or whether it's on the other side of the issue, please thank them. Thank them for either seeking help and going to the right place or for those that help our community in so many silent ways we never see.
Yeah, absolutely. And well put, Robin. Mike, she put you on the spot there to talk budget this morning.
Yes, Commissioner Gorman referred to the budget. We met a couple Fridays ago with all of our directors of our departments on the budget of the first quarter. I know budget usually you don't speak of budget until towards the end of this year, but with last year and what the county's budget we have to deal with, it's time to get started on early. The reason for that is when you speak of budgets and you speak of budget falls, most people take it in their mind, if you look at government, is that it's cuts. Well, actually, you actually can look at it in two different ways. You can actually recover monies through cuts. That's one of the ways, and that's the most probably the ways that people actually look at it. But the other thing is you can also create revenues, and that is something that we're taking a strong look at in creating new revenues, new ways of bringing money in to actually offset what is needed. So with that being said, after our meeting on the Fridays like I had spoken with, with the directors. 5 of the departments have, believe it or not, have looked out of the box already, and they are right now putting together new creations of revenues. And I'm really excited about that because we're going to drill down on those and hopefully put those into play very soon. And with that being said, we're hoping the other departments do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody pulling in the same direction would be a really good thing. Absolutely. Okay, Shireen, yesterday we talked with you about the Bernie Smith Scholarship. Today, put on another hat. You get the last word today.
Great. Yeah, and that's a good segue. You know, that Bernie Smith Scholarship is about the Drug and Alcohol Commission, and there's a lot of folks volunteering on that board and throughout our county to help people with substance use disorders. But I want to give a shout-out to all the volunteers in the county. It's April is Volunteer Month, and also to say that there are many volunteers helping with our vaccination clinics through IRMC. And I want to encourage folks to get out there and get your vaccination if you can. The only way we get back to a well-functioning economy and to protect people's health is for everyone to get the vaccination. If you are able to do it, there's plenty of vaccine now. Please make that arrangement. That's a plea I want to make to folks today.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we're hearing more and more opportunities are opening up. So you got to make that call, get that appointment, and get your shot. Go get your arm poked, right?
Yep.
Very good. Very good. Well, ladies and one gentleman, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. Good morning. AM 1160. Good morning.